Welcome to IQVastu. This is like a subscription. We continuously develop analysis for you. So like in a magazine, we constantly update your analysis with new features. You get the benefit of that. So the subscription allows you to check for 3 homes. Your former home, where you can figure out types of things you've experienced. Your current home and how the events will pan out the next week, near future, or if you're planning to move to a different place, your future home, and what awaits you there, what you can solve, what sort of problems will there be, and how you can tackle that, right? The analysis is basically 3 parts. There is a part where you need to know what, which is what are all the positives and negatives based on entry time alone. There is a huge astrology package that we have inside that will give you all the notes. So the left button is about time of entry astrology analysis. Then there is the middle button where we are talking about your dwelling, the positives and negatives in the dwelling. So which means it's more directional. So where, we have about 23 scenarios. So we are looking for where, right? These 23 scenarios are from Sage Vishwakarma's Vastu Shastra, and we plan to create more and more analysis from various other works also. Then there is a right button. The right button is about what future events or when the doshams or the negatives or the positives will impact you going forward. So let's dive a little deep. Let's go into the first button. You'll be asked to give a nickname, time zone, time of entry, date of entry. So give your dwelling a nickname. So you will need it to be able to attach this nickname to a dwelling that you will choose later. This can be your current dwelling, previous dwelling, or the future. So when you go into analysis, it will give you a list of negatives and weird positives possible in that property. We are showing you a slide of one of those things where there is some flooding that can be caused. There will be some water leak or flooding or something. So this will answer the question of what are all the possibilities based on this entry date, right? So the reason why we go into detail here is because your house or your dwelling is like a body, and when the soul enters the body, we do what is called a birth chart analysis. So like that, when the household enters the dwelling, we do an analysis. We call that like a birth, and then we do astrological analysis on that. So that is what it is. It is about what are all the possibilities based on the entry time, entry date, right? Then we go into the middle button. Middle button is where. So we answered what, now it will be where. So where is any possible leak, water leak? Where is it hot in the house? Where to study? Where to keep medicines? Where is weird positives or exaltment? Where is it enabled? So this obviously intersects with what. So if what doesn't have something, like there is a particular negative proposition, that will not show up in the where. So we won't tell you those things. So the intersection is already made, right? So you get answered what happens where. Where does the pitur or bacteria or prithvi humor travel? Where is Agni traveling, right? The Panchabhuta, right? How do they walk in the house, right? Or where do you plant a Nyagrodha tree or Indrani tree? Where should you place a bed? Where should you not place a bet? What demigod governs which corner? And what is the significance, right? So this is all a question of where, right? We answer that for you. So initially we answered what, now we answered where. Now we come back and we go to the third button. This third button addresses when. So you have, let's say you have certain things, certain weird positives that are possible in the property. You intersect with where in the house is this happening, and then the next question would be, when is this going to happen? So that's the third button. You go in, you pick the dwelling, right? You have already created a plan for it, whatever, you've looked at all that. Then we go into the future or into the past and then make sense of most recent events or develop some comprehension from there and make sense of what's happening in the future. So we have videos to explain each dosham under what, or each Viparita Rajyogam. So we call it dosham for negative and then Viparita Rajyogam for positive. And we have videos coming up that will explain what each of these are, to give you examples and so on. Then we are going to put more. We have 23 scenarios, but we are going to put more analysis from various other works on Vastu for the which corner, where question in the center button. And then we are improving the English interpretation for future events and past events and so on in the third button, under the third button. This is what you get when you sign up for Vastu. You get 3 houses, but with these 3, you can, let's say in the future, you want to get into a particular house, you have developed that, and then you can analyze if you want to go on, let's say, a particular date, or in a slightly change it by 2 or 3 dates, things like that. Also, you can constantly reinvent, like, you have this financing, right? Refinancing. Like that, you can create, for the same house that you're living in, you can create a different, a better quality of living if you do a Griha Pravesha, that is, you do the entry date again, and then you worship the Vishwakarma Lord of Vastu and the Vastu Bhuta, and you make a little ceremony, and then you again start over in that house. And now, while the corners where things will happen don't change, the where doesn't change, the what changes. So you get more Viparita Rajyogams enabled. So you can plan on when you want to renew your house, in some sense, if you're living in an apartment. So we are not doing this only for houses. While houses are priority, we have prioritized apartments much more, because a lot of people live in apartments, and that is where the problems are, because you have neighbors, and how these neighbors are situated, what their abilities to help or detract, things like that, we have to analyze. So we have prioritized apartment buildings where you share common spaces with neighbors. So enjoy. You can go and analyze and feel that you have a little bit of control over what happens in a particular dwelling based on Vastu Shastra of sage Vishwakarma. Thank you.